10 things you need to be a zookeeper from a zookeeper. Just before we start, I would like to apologise for this rogue bit of hair on top of my head. I only noticed it once I started editing this film. Hey ho. Also, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It's completely free for you to do, and I'd love to try and hit 100 subscribers by the end of the month. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Number 1. You need to have a passion for animals. There's no way that you can work with animals and not like animals. It just doesn't make sense. Mainly because you're spending most of your day with them. Zookeepers in zoos can work anywhere in between 8 to 12 hours a day, so very, very long days. In fact, actually, we spend more time with animals than we do with our own family. So if you don't like animals, then zookeeping is definitely not one for you. Obviously, you're going to be working really, really closely with them. You're going to be cleaning up after them. You're going to be making their food for them, providing them with water and all the essentials that they need to be able to live. But not only that, you're going to be educating people on animals and how they can be saved in the wild. And the best way that you can educate people is through showing your passion that you have for the job. Number 2, intelligence. You need to be really, really smart to be a zookeeper, and not many people realise that. A lot of time they just think, oh, you're just shoveling poo, or you're just cleaning up after things, you're sweeping things, you're painting things. You don't need to be smart to do that, but that is completely false. So when I say intelligence, I don't just mean being really, really smart, being good at maths, being good at science. You do need that, especially if you're working out how much medication to give an animal, converting it from mixed to meals when your vet gives you it. Definitely need to be able to do that. Yes, we have to do all of those things, but we've also got to know about all of the anatomy of the individual animals that we are working with. No animals are the same, so you've got to know the individual animals and the individual species, their anatomy, their physiology, their biology, the psychology that they have as well. You need to know the natural history of that animal. What are they likely to do in certain situations, and then use that to ensure that you can provide them with the best life whilst they're in captivity, but also help you in looking after them as well. Not only that, we need to know what they eat, what's best for them, what do they need in their diet for them to have either really, really nice feathers or really nice coats. Make sure everything's growing the way it should be. Make sure everything's happening inside them the way it should be. But also just being intelligent with how you behave around the animals, what you're doing, how you behave around people. Do you have to be the smartest person in the world? No, but you need, I would say, common sense, but a lot of time common sense is the worst thing that you can have when you're in zookeeping, because the thing that most people would do is completely the wrong thing to do a lot of the times when it comes to looking after animals. If you are enjoying the video, then please carry on watching to the end. But also in that eye up there is more zookeeping videos about animals and with animals that you may want to check out as well. Number 3, a sense of humour. You need a sense of humour when you're working with this job, because I cannot tell you how many situations you get into where if you don't laugh, you'll probably cry. So laughing has to be a key element of the job. You'll end up with poo on your face, you'll end up with food on your face, you'll fall over things. In this job, you're often climbing over things to get to an area to be able to either put a bit of enrichment up, to clean there, to go and check the animal, whatever it may be. You're going to fall off every now and again. You're going to trip over things every now and again. And if you don't laugh, like I said, you will cry. And you have to laugh an awful lot of the time. Number 4. Not just accepting that you're going to be working with poo, but liking it and somewhat loving it as well. Poop. Wonderful poop. Psst. Have you hit the like button yet? If not, then why not? Let's see if we can get 15 likes on this video. As a zookeeper, this is something that you're going to have to learn to love. The reason why you're going to have to learn to love it is solely for the fact that actually all animals do it. You have to clean it to get rid of it, to make sure that your animals are in a nice, clean, safe area. But not only that, actually examining an animal's poo is sometimes the best and most efficient way to be able to detect if the animal is well, if it's eating its food properly, if it's digesting its food properly. And also we have to send samples of the poo off, not only just to test for things like parasites, but also you can be using it to be able to test for hormonal things and whether or not an animal's in season as well, and if it's ready for breeding. So actually, like I said, you've not just got to like poo, you've got to love it. That's some good 5 will make you get down now. Being creative. Being creative is another massively important thing when it comes to being a zookeeper. And this is because, you know, things will break when you go to use them, or things won't quite go according to plan, so sometimes you have to use your creativity to be able to change this. This isn't just obviously if things break and stuff, this could be for making toys and enrichment that the animals enjoy as well. But also, it's using what you have on you at that time to maybe fix a problem in a bad situation. I cannot tell you how many times a radio has become my most handy tool. Finding creative ways to not only motivate your team but motivate your animals, like I said, making toys and enrichment, being creative as possible with all of this stuff is really, really key to ensuring a nice healthy lifestyle for yourselves and for the animals that you work with as well. Variety is the spice of life, and you can only be as varied as what your creativity allows you to be. Padlock won't shut? Well, use your radio. Nail sticking out on a planter? Use your radio. Work colleague really annoying you? Use your radio. 6. Just have a little patience. You're still banging on the window. Why I asked you to not? Things don't happen overnight. They don't just happen straight now. You need a lot of patience when you're working with animals, because animals are very quick at learning things. Very, very quick at learning things. But also, again, animals have lots of natural instincts. And sometimes those natural instincts can override everything that they learn. And I don't just mean with the animals. This can be with people that you're working with. I think patience is a key thing in life, but people that you're working with, they might not understand exactly what you're saying straight away. So you need to have patience with that. And then also the public. You need a lot of patience with public. I love the public. Public are super important for zoos, for us to be able to make money, to be able to look after the animals as well as we do, and to raise money for conservation. But my word, some public can take the mickey sometimes with what they do, dealing with their terrible jokes as well. Look at that strange looking animal. That's a lesser spotted human. Number 7. People skills. As a zookeeper, you cannot do it all on your own. You need to be able to work with other people to ensure that you're providing the best care for the animals. There's going to be days when you're not there, so you need those people to be as good as you are with doing stuff to make sure the animals are getting the best care and enrichment and anything else that they need as possible. But you do sometimes have to deal with difficult people. We all know people can be difficult, and dealing with that in a sensible and a good way is one of the best ways to make sure that people have a fun day, but your animals are still respected as well. Not just for telling people off, but for passing your message across. The whole reason why we're there is we're trying to not only provide the animals with the best life we possibly can that are in captivity, but also educate people on how they can save these animals and a reason why they should care about these animals. So being able to have good people skills and tell people all about that is going to make it a lot easier and a lot better for you explaining this to them, and make sure that people go home with that message of, how can I make a difference to save these animals out in the wild? Because we really do need to save these animals out in the wild before it's too late. Number 8. A decent pair of boots. I resented the idea of spending lots of money on clothes and equipment for work until I realised that, hold on, I'm spending most of my life at work, 60 hours a week sometimes, so actually investing money into decent things to wear at work was a lot more beneficial to me. And my word, am I glad I did it. I was getting home, I was having blisters on my feet, and I was also getting back pain. And it suddenly occurred to me that that just does not make sense. So I finally invested in a decent pair of walking boots and also a decent pair of muck boot wellies as well for when it's a bit wetter. I've had a pair of muck boots for about 2 years without anything going wrong with them. And so actually that was money very, very well spent. Also, I'd just like to add, I'm not sponsored by Muck Boot in any way, shape or form, but if they are watching this, they want to sponsor me. Also, you want to make sure that what you've got on your feet is actually going to be supportive when you have to all of a sudden run to the other side of the zoo for unknown reasons, or puddle. for unknown reasons. Yeah, if you've got to run somewhere or climb up something, you want to make sure that your footwear is suitable to help you out with doing that as well. Number 9, you need to be strong-minded and strong-willed. You need to carry on when things don't go quite right. And things will sometimes not go right. No matter how much training you do with the animals, there'll be times where it doesn't go right. So you need that patience, which we said earlier, and you need a strong will and a strong mind to be able to persevere and carry on with what you're doing. Not only that, we work with animals, we work with living creatures, and that does mean that they will die. It's sad, it's not something any of us enjoy, not something any of us want to experience, but you work with animals, some that only live for very short periods of time, some which live for a long period of time but may have been in the zoo for ages and are old. And when these animals die, it is really sad. Like I said, we devote most of our time to these animals and everything that we do with them. So you need to be really, really strong-minded and strong-willed to carry on with your job, because it can knock your confidence quite a lot when an animal passes away, and it does make you very sad. But you need to remember, you could have 30, 40, 50, maybe even 60 other animals that's still alive that you need to look after and work and deal with for the rest of the day and make sure that they are okay and getting the best life possible. 10. Nobody really wants to hear experience. Working with animals is not a textbook thing. You can learn lots from a textbook, you can learn lots from the internet, you can learn lots from anywhere, from anyone. But looking after animals is truly a experience thing. You learn from your mistakes, you learn from other people's mistakes, you learn from what works, and you learn from what other people do that works. Physically actually managing and going and looking after these animals and working with people that have been there and done it all before is the best way to get the experience to be able to become a zookeeper. You will not find a single zookeeper in the world that didn't volunteer at some point. Most, if not all zoos, love having volunteers. Volunteers are amazing. They help us with absolutely everything, and you know what? Our job would be a lot harder if we didn't have those volunteers. I used to volunteer. I did work experience, you know, there's internships where people volunteer. You know, there is so many ways that you can gain experience to be able to get into this industry, and you have to do it. There is no way that you can go to your university, do your zoology degree or your biology degree, and then just be like, yay, I'm a zookeeper now. It won't happen. You need experience, and the only way you can get experience is through volunteering. And you know what? Volunteering is awesome. You get to do so many amazing things with the animals that you would never expect to be able to do as a volunteer. You just need to go to the right places, and also, like I said, zookeepers, we love volunteers, we love the help, and we love nothing more than telling people about what we know and helping and showing people what we know. So we know that in the future, when we're not around and there's other people now looking after these animals, they're doing it in the best possible way they can. Thank you for tuning in to Zookeeper Montom. Join us again next time when we'll see more animals and we'll do more stuff. If you did make it all the way to the end of this video, then a huge thank you for watching. If you haven't, do subscribe to the channel, as it really does help us out, and there is plenty of more animal videos and zookeeping videos that you may enjoy on there as well.
Woohoo!